Welcome back. I'm Andrew, your crypto guy on the internet, and we just got the best news ever for Bitcoin's future. As a result, Bitcoin has broken out of this descending channel we've been stuck in for a while. We're above the 200 EMA and looking pretty strong. Now we need a few more daily closures right around this range. Really above 27.5 would be great. So why did this happen? The big financial institutions are officially in crypto. Couple of stories here. Remember back in September of last year? Maybe you missed it. It was a quiet headline. But financial behemoths, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, and Citadel have joined forces to create a crypto exchange. That launched today, quietly. Retail traders are not allowed on this, and that's why you probably haven't heard of it. This is only for crypto firms and other big financial institutions to trade crypto amongst each other. And they're only going to offer Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash. These two nobody cares about. Bitcoin is the future of preservation of wealth, and Ethereum is the basis for the tokenization of digital assets, which is what Larry Fink from BlackRock sees happening in our future. In addition to these big names, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, and Citadel, Mastercard jumps into crypto with a couple of trademark applications, software for crypto and blockchain transactions, interconnecting virtual asset service providers for crypto transactions. Great, okay. Deutsche Bank out of Germany applies for a crypto custody license. Deutsche Bank is worth measly $1.4 trillion. That's good. But most importantly, BlackRock, the most powerful company in the world, who manages $10 trillion in assets, files for a spot Bitcoin ETF. And this second part, Coinbase is a crypto custodian. That's a little strange to me, but it does tell me that Coinbase is here to stay because they are partnered up with BlackRock. And BlackRock owns everything and everyone who matters, including 24 million shares in Goldman Sachs. That's where Gary Gensler's from. Now that's strange. We've had, like 100 attempts at a spot Bitcoin ETF here that have all been denied or delayed for no reason. And some of these names are pretty big, like Grayscale and ARK Invest. They've all applied perfectly. All the rules have been followed. All the boxes have been checked. And yet still, the SEC has denied or delayed all of their applications. But then BlackRock shows up. And they don't pick a fight to lose. They've applied for 576 ETFs in the past, and all but one succeeded. That's 575 wins and one loss. So BlackRock knows they're going to win because if Gary denies them, his phone rings and he's now fired. So it seems that while Gary and the Jim Cramers and the news is trying to scare all of us away from crypto, they want to intentionally plunge everything so they can buy it all up cheap and then open up shop and have a monopoly on the system here. BlackRock is using Gary to kick Binance out because he's the current king of crypto. And BlackRock doesn't want to work against someone like that. They want a monopoly on the story. So BlackRock's ETF, the approval process is a minimum of 45 days. But I think it's going to take longer than that, obviously. BlackRock is a big ship, and they have to point everything at their next target. But they have Bitcoin in their sights, and they're planning on doing this. They only make moves that succeed for them, because they have to manage $10 trillion of assets. So they got to do everything by the book, right? And so they make sure to buy up all the players before they jump into the game to guarantee that they win. Gary, this is what it looks like to me. Gary has been stiff-arming everybody else to let BlackRock in, his buddies, all right? Now, this is crooked and corrupt and evil, and some people in the crypto community don't like this. But I would argue, if you want Bitcoin to be at $250,000 or $1 million a piece, this kind of stuff has to happen. Because liquidity is drying up faster and faster, especially now since we raised the debt ceiling. The feds have to sell off a ton of bonds, and that's going to dry up a lot of whatever's left of the liquidity in the market. If BlackRock has $10 trillion in assets and they allocate, say, 3% of their portfolio to this new sector, that's what, $300 billion that gets added to Bitcoin's market cap. That brings Bitcoin's price up to a baseline of 42,000 right away. But that's all going to take time. You have to educate your boomer investment base, your customers, that Bitcoin is not only a good idea, but an absolute must. That's what happened with gold. Remember when gold, before ETFs kicked in, what was gold at? Does anyone remember? Well, let's go back to 2003. All the way back here. Now it's at $2,000 a piece, but it wasn't always that way. This is when gold got its ETF, first one, March of 2003, and it was at $340 or so, $330. Now it's $2,000. And gold is not there to make you money, it's there to preserve your money. So look what happened over the, whoa, we're just going up and up and up and up and oh, a little bit down. Oh, no, we're still way up there. All the way up to present day, we're at 2,000. So what would that do to Bitcoin? If you start here, I mean, you're going all the way up here. It's way off the charts, theoretically, over the next 5-10 years. I don't see why that wouldn't happen, because you can always mine for more gold. With Bitcoin, there's a hard limit on how much there is. And so with a hard cap on the supply and all the big boys fighting over it, Bitcoin's the way to go. All right? And second in command is Ethereum, because everything's going to be built on top of that. So Ethereum still has some growing pains to get through, but it's Bitcoin number 1 and Ethereum number 2. And if Charles Schwab and Fidelity and Citadel all agree that Ethereum's here to stay, and Larry Fink says Ethereum's here to stay through the tokenization of digital assets, then I would say the same thing. That's probably the move. What happens with altcoins? Well, that remains to be seen. You got these strong companies that are all below their 200 EMA. The only cryptos that are above it right now are Bitcoin. Let me move this so we can actually see the chart. Here's your 200 EMA. Bitcoin is above it, and that's why it's a strong move. Okay, it bounced off it right here at about 25,000, and we're going up. We broke out of that channel, okay, right here. Very good. And we're maintaining the pattern or the trend line going up since January. That's great. Bitcoin dominance skyrocketing because all of this money from altcoins is getting scared into Bitcoin, all right? Ethereum, just above its EMA that cuts through right about here. And it's above its 200 EMA because it's number 2 and it's part of all of these major plans that are coming, all right? Now, who's losing? Everybody else, except, let's see, Render is above its 200 EMA. I don't know why that's not showing up here, but it's like right below. Let's see here. Here we go. So Render is still strong. The price action is still pretty good. I'm in there with some RSI trading. KAVA is below it, but they were recently above it. They have a chance, but look weak. XRP is above their 200 EMA still, because we're all waiting on that SEC case to conclude, which is supposed to be any day now, but we'll see. I'm, as like half a joke, I'm considering selling off my XRP to personally lose a few grand, to then guarantee that XRP wins the case and the price jumps to $3 a piece. And then that would help crypto and the world as a whole at great personal sacrifice. But if I hold on to XRP and hope for the best, I think they're going to lose. So maybe I'll just sell my XRP for you people. Polkadot, I think, has a place to stay based on what they do, creating bridges and APIs between other cryptos. I think that's cool. But they're still in that basket of altcoins that everybody's dumping. So they're below their 200 EMA. You know, Cardano, the poor thing. Doge, same thing. AVAX, you know, they can't come up for air. Everything's suffering. Everything's awful. Solana's terrible. Matic getting wrecked. Although Matic, they work with Ethereum, so I feel like Polygon Matic has a future. I'm just their price action is awful because of this recent fear. Same thing, Chainlink, I think, has a place. I think they're working with Swift or something. I got to look that up. But the stock market is horrible with the exception of a handful, I mean like 5 stocks that are pushing everything up. And number one is Tesla. I mean, Tesla's doing so incredibly well, and they're not slowing down. I'm waiting for a retrace to buy some more, but I don't think that's going to happen here for a little while. Amazon's also looking pretty well. Amazon's had a couple of ugly headlines lately, but I think they'll be all right. I mean, look, their charts are still great, looking really strong. So overall, all the big financial institutions are jumping in because they see BlackRock doing it. The price action right now, it looks a little excited because of the BlackRock news, but don't get it twisted. The liquidity is small right now, very small volume. It's all going to get dried up because of the Fed selling bonds. And so we might see a jump up to the low 30s, maybe even the 40s, but then we go down and sideways for a while until this Bitcoin ETF stuff and the halving kick in around the same time. I'm thinking March of 2024. All right. So you have a little more time to accumulate, maybe hold off and hope that we retrace to a lower number. That could always happen. We're definitely facing a recession. Okay. Anyone who thinks the bull market is on is out of their mind. That is not true. But we do have some great headlines for a strong long-term future for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, in terms of altcoins, which I personally have a lot of them, I know it hurts. That remains to be seen. Well, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Hopefully, your crypto portfolio is weighted heaviest on Bitcoin and Ethereum. That was the smart choice, the safe choice to make, and it's going to pay off over the next few years. Anyway, have a great day out there. Isn't this great? This is so good. I'm happy for us.